Yo, what's going on everyone? If you're new here, my name's Brad and I make videos about fitness. So if you are new here, remember to support your boy and smash that subscribe button. Right then people, we're off to train legs, and when I say we, I mean me. So I'm going to do something that I wouldn't usually do, and that is doing squats and a deadlift variation in the same session. And the reason I don't really do this is just because it's so taxing on the lower back. So what I'm going to do is do a sumo deadlift rather than a conventional deadlift. And I've never actually done sumo deadlifts before, so it could be quite interesting. What's going on guys? Welcome to the voiceover segment of the videos. I'm just going to voice over my session before I talk about whether you can squat and deadlift in the same session. So here I am warming up with an empty bar, then moved to a plate each side. So I slowly, progressively added weight to the bar before. Not necessarily got to working set weights because in this session I didn't really have any working set weights in mind. The reason being I haven't done any squats in ages, so it was just literally about trying to relearn form almost. So got up to 120 kilos here, did 5 reps there, and then following that I went up to 3 plates for 140 kilos. Regarding how the form felt, because I've not done squats in like maybe like 4 to 6 months, somewhere around there, probably even longer than 6 months actually, felt a little bit off. Actually before I went to 140 kilos I did another set of 130 kilos for a set of 5. The exercise just felt, you know, if you don't do something for a while, it's never gonna feel like amazing. You've got to get, I feel like the more you do the powerlifting lifts like squat, bench, deadlift, the better they get. So me not doing it for 6 months, obviously it's gonna feel a little bit off. I was doing hack squats for a long period of time in like the higher rep ranges. So this felt obviously quite a lot different. So this is the set with 140 kilos. I mean, I've done sets of 9 with 140 kilos. So there's a set of 5 here, and to be honest, it didn't feel great. But this is what happens when you don't do an exercise for so long, and then you just go into it and try and, well, not that I was trying to hit PRs, obviously not. I set myself, I'm just going to do 5 reps, and that'll be that. But the first 2 reps were the worst reps. You see my chest drop a little bit. What that's going to do is shift the load a little bit onto the lower back, which isn't ideal. But got through the set, performed it somewhat safely, I guess. I mean, I'm not endanger myself too much. The form could have just been better. After that I just did a double with 145 kilos. From my standards it's not great, but bear in mind the situation, that it's fine. I'm actually a strong squatter. Like, I've done like double bodyweight squats for like sets of 5. I remember when I was like 72 kilos, although I'm only 73 now, but I've done a bulk and cut phase since then, so I've got more muscle now and holding less fat. But when I was 72 kilos, I did 150 kilos for a set of 4, or was it 5? It's on my Instagram. Go follow me out on there and you'll be able to find out what it was. I can't remember. But yeah, so by my side it's not great. Anyway, I'm rambling. Went on to sumo deadlift and learned the form because I've never done this exercise, and worked up to 180 kilos for a set of 3. Not maxing out or anything. It's just the first time doing this exercise. I didn't really want to go in killing myself, you know what I mean? I'm not sure if I prefer it to conventional deadlift. I think I've got to give it more time to see whether I do prefer it or not. But yeah, like I said, I think there's potential there. I think I could probably, I don't want to set a number on it because I don't even know if I'm going to implement this exercise in my program. But on conventional deadlift, for example, I pulled 220 kilos from the floor. So I guess the goal with sumo deadlift would be to somewhat at least match that, because I think most people can pull more on a sumo than a conventional. Anyway, I'm going to end this voiceover part here and talk to you about whether you can deadlift and squat in the same session. Alright, let me talk about it then. Can you do squats and deadlifts in the same session? If you're after a yes or no answer, in short, it's yes. But if you do decide to do both in the same session, there are a couple of variables you need to keep in mind. Otherwise, you could run into problems, and that is why I'm making this video, so you don't run into them problems. There's 2 variables that we need to manage really, and that is your volume. So with whatever muscle group, whatever lifts you're doing, you need to manage that. So that goes without saying. And the other variable is your intensity. And to be more specific about the 2, the main thing you've got to keep an eye on, put your focus on, is your rep ranges. And what I mean by that, if you take anything away from this video, it's that you can't go and start with a deadlift, doing your 2 and 3 rep max, do a few sets of that, and then go on to doing your squat and then be doing like sets of 4 and 5. You're gonna put so much strain on your central nervous system. Like if you do that, you are gonna feel absolutely fried, and it won't be long till you get in an overtrained state. And the other thing is that if you're working with those low rep ranges, is that you'll be working with a high percentage of your 1 rep max. So the problem with this, basically you're gonna be at more risk of injury. Like if your form breaks down with a high percentage of your 1 rep max, you are more likely to get injured. Obviously these two things are enough to not do that. And the other thing that is obviously going to be detrimental to your training is if you're just working the low rep ranges, you're going to be prioritizing the fast twitch muscle fibers, and because you're neglecting the high rep ranges, you're not going to be hitting your slow twitch muscle fibers. So you need to make sure you're covering all rep ranges in your training. So not only is it a problem in terms of potentially overtraining, getting injured, them kind of things, that you're not actually going to be training optimally. Basically, all you're going to take from this is don't do low rep work for both exercises, and then you'll be fine. Obviously, there's other variables you need to keep an eye on when managing your volume for each body part and your lifts and stuff, like your frequency, rest times, all these kind of things, but I'm just being quite niche about whether you can deadlift and squat in the same session. But that is all I wanted to say, really. Hopefully you learned something, and hopefully it will prevent people from making the mistake of going too low reps on these lifts. Because it's the lifts that you can lift the most amount of weight, people I think assume that you've got to do low rep work, and that's not the case. You don't have to do that at all. So especially for hypertrophy purposes like bodybuilding, like you don't really need to go below 6 reps if you're working sets. But yeah, hopefully some of you guys watching have learned something. So if you did, please like the video and leave a comment. That will help with YouTube algorithm. And obviously subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'm trying to hit 300 subscribers before New Year. That would be like a really cool Christmas present. So if you haven't yet subscribed, you're new here, please hit that subscribe button. But yeah, that is the end of the video, and I'll see all of you in the next video.